Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Tarot Spinning. My name's Kathy, and these episodes we're looking into the how-to with the tarot, learning the basics for learning these cards. Today we're actually going to do the suit of wands. So with the suit of wands, that suit in the deck is ruled by fire. So the suit of wands is the fire signs like Aries, Leo and Sagittarius, so that's what that sort of goes back to. And being a fire sign, it's action, movement, physically getting and doing things. So this is the deck this is the suit, the deck, this is the suit. We're using the Rider-Waite deck today. This is the suit that is it more reads like, when you're looking at it, it reads like there's action and there's doing and there's a physical side to it, because the fire energy has that energy to it where it's, you know, clears and gets in and gets moving, gets things going. So, and of course, as of every other time I do the same for these episodes, this is my personal opinion. It's textbook and a bit of my spin on it as well. So if it resonates, good-o. If not, all good as well. So we're going to start out. We're going to get into our suit of wands. We've got the ace. And I think I already said this is the Rider-Waite deck, but I do love the aces in this deck. The way they're depicted with the hand coming down out of the heaven. Ta-da! But that is the Ace of Wands. The Two of Wands, and he's got the world in his hand there in the Two of Wands. The Three of Wands. And then we go to the Four of Wands. So we'll start out here with the Ace. And with the Ace of Wands, ooh, see if I can look it up a bit. The Ace of Wands, you have the single shaft, which is the wand, which is like, you know, they always look like sticks, a piece of tree stick. And this is a divine intervention situation, with this being brought down from the heavens, from up above. And being an ace, it's a 1. Well, you know, it's the beginning. It's the ace of the deck is the 1, and it is news and information usually coming in. And it's the beginning, the opportunity, and something is starting up. With the wand deck, this can also be in gestation, which can be birthing, pregnancy. It can be a sign of that. It doesn't mean it's going to be that, but it can be a sign that there can be pregnancy or birth. But it can be the birthing of an idea, the beginning of an idea, the physical manifestation of an idea coming into play, like it's starting to take root. It's like the tree, that branch there's going to start taking root. But it's the idea, it's the inception, it's the beginning, it's the energy that's coming in, that fire energy that's shooting in and lighting everything up and getting it going. Then we have the Two of Wands. With the Two of Wands, you've got the world they've got the world in their hands. So, and seeing they're standing on either side of those wands, or on either side of them, it's a win-win situation. It's always coming back to a little bit of lucky news and balance, a little bit of sort of the victory vibe to it. It's always like things are coming in. Their energy's moving quite nice. It's a quite balanced, nice energy coming in, and they're virtually looking out from the position they're in, like it shows you this picture. These pictures paint the feeling for you to look at it from that perspective. It's looking out from where you were to what you're going to have coming in, or what you're moving into. It's sort of like that going forward, stepping like from the 1 going to the 2, and this one it does feel like it's going from that singular to the dual, to double the aspect of it. And of course then the 3's also to do with expansion. And in this deck, just like those 2 wands, now there's 3 wands, so it's expanding it yet again. And this one, it always depicts the ocean with the boats, and it sort of comes back to that your ships are coming in. You can see them down in the harbour there. Your ships are coming into dock. So your ideas and all that energy is coming in towards you, and it's coming in a real positive. They're quite positive, all these 4 cards. If you see them in the deck. And oh, by the way, we're only doing the upright. Being there's 78 cards, that's enough. Bit of a pro tip. That's enough for your brain to just get that all sorted and get comfy. Get to know these cards and their energy and how they run, and then, yeah, by all means, go and start learning the reverse if that's what takes your fancy. So I don't tend to, I go off the energy. So you can sort of pick if the energy is which way when you see the cards. So all good. Everyone does what they want. And then we're jumping on to the 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands is the harvest and the home. And it can, because in the picture here it depicts a couple, and they both got bouquets of flowers, holding them up in the air, and then the 4 of Wands are actually here with the flowers around the top of them. It looks like somewhere you'd stand and get married. So it can depict a marriage, an engagement, or a celebration, or a wedding. It also is to do with the home, and it's the 4, like the 4 corners of anything. The 4 is that foundation, the feeling of the foundation that's being structured or set. So being there's the 4, it's also to do with home, to do with the home life. But it's quite a positive, uplifting, cheery sort of a card again, being the old 4 of Wands. So they're the first 4 done. We'll whiz on to the 5 of Wands. The 6 of Wands, the 7, and the 8. Okay, we've got the 6 of Wands, 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands, as it depicts in the picture here, there's 5 people with sticks, all having a little bit of a, looks like a little bit of a fake sword game with their sticks. And this card actually depicts, because 5 in the numerology side of the 5 is communication, energy, unstable on some level, like as in it's volatile. It's not it's unstable as in it's the energy of the 5's that evolving and pulling it apart and redoing it. So if you looked, because a bit of numerology there I'm chatting, but if you're looking at this from the tarot perspective, it's communications, and it's the toing and throwing of people. They're trying to work something out, and it's all through communication and or action, and they're all sort of having a little bit of a tussle, but it's sort of not going to be a full-on blue or anything, but it definitely is butting heads. And the energies are shifting and changing and all rearranging themselves, trying to get it to settle down and sort itself into the position you want it to go into. So it's like a shape-shifting energy when the 5's there. And a lot of the time it can depict people talking, depending where it sits in the reading. It can be the card where people are talking behind your back, stirring the pot, can be that sort of like a envious card where they're jealous, or it can have that energy to it. It can be a little bit on the, like petty would be the card, would be the thought. But anyway, move on to the 6. And the 6 of Wands is quite a beautiful card where they're coming home, and it's a victory card. It's winning the victory. In the deck, if you look up the actual Rider-Waite, the meanings of each card, the old-fashioned meanings, it was coming back from the war, and they won the battle. So they're riding in on the horse, and he's got the victory wreath on his wand, and then everyone in the background's all cheering the wand up, like they're all proud, and it's a happy situation. So that energy is coming into the reading, and when you see the 6 of Wands, the energy's coming in, and it's fairly positive. It's winning. It's for that moment in time in that part of the reading. Things are looking like thumbs up. They're going the way you want it to go, and the energy's moving in that direction. Then you go to the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is, as this bloke depicts in the picture here, he's got 6 wands which are like pretty well look like they're pointing at him to some degree, and he's got the 7th wand and he's defensive. He's in a defensive pose. You can see the way he's standing. He's got his, he's like he's in battle mode, and it can depict the challenges of the responsibility that you've taken on. So you've taken on some responsibility, or you've taken on something new, like a new job. The Seven of Wands would depict that it's your energy trying to battle with yourself, trying to feel comfortable with the responsibilities you've taken on in that new job. So Seven of Wands, it can be just working things out and getting things to settle down, or it can be actually having to fight a little bit for what you want, or where you've got to go. You've got to fight a little bit to get there, or to go through this position, to get through this phase. And then we jump on to the Eight of Wands, which has just the 8 wands always coming in on an angle over a countryside look. And being an 8, it's the balancing energies of the 8. And with this particular card, I'm just getting I'm thinking 2 things at once, so that's why I'm stalling in my brain going, ugh. It's fast action and movement coming in, so energy's picking up, and they're not lightning bolts, but that's what they feel like when you see them in the reading, and that's energy coming in. And it's usually news and information coming in, or energy just coming in, and it changes and it's pushing everything through to make it go faster than it would have been any other time. So if you see this in the reading, it's telling you that things are picking up, and depending what it's sitting near, we won't get into scenarios in these, we're just going through the basic cards, but we will play the scenarios later on in another episode. But depending what that's sitting with and where it's positioned, it'll tell you what's picking up, or what's speeding up, or what energy is coming in to change and move around. But the eight energy in the numerology is a balanced energy, so it's quite a positive card. It's like it's the 2 circles sit on top of each other is the figure of the 8, and it's quite a balanced energy. So it's just a bit of numerology. I'm shoving that in amongst it there. That's how I see it. But I'll just trot off now, and we'll get on to the next 4. We've got the 9 of Wands, the 10 of Wands, the Page, and the Knight. So with the 9 of Wands, as you see in this, it depicts the 8 of Wands. They're now not flying through the air. They're actually solidly into the ground, and you're leaning on the 9th wand. So as the picture's painting there, and you've got a bandage on your head too. So in this particular situation, it is a weariness. It's, even though the energy has been expelled, and you have been expelling the energy, it's getting to the point where you're a bit worn out. But being a 9, again with the numerology, it's the ending of a cycle. So it's coming, the cycle, the wheel's coming back up to the top. It's not quite there yet, but it's coming back up. So that means that energy, you're not giving up. Even though you're exhausted, you're holding on to that stick like it's a leaning post, and you're holding on you're trying to see the end out to get it finished. But the 9 of Wands always has that feeling of, you're not ready to lay down your sword or your wand and give up yet. I say sword, I didn't get the confusion going there. Didn't mean to say sword, but you're not going to lay down your stick and go home yet. You're going to battle on. And it's virtually a positive sign to say that the battle's nearly coming to a completion. You're just about there. You're just, and depending where it sits again in a reading as to what it's meaning, but it's quite another good positive card. 10 of Wands, just as it depicts here. They're bent forward, they're carrying this load. It is actually up off the ground, but it's quite a heavy load to carry. So being the 10, it is the completion card. But in this particular deck, it shows the 10 of Wands as being a bit of a burden. It's a bit of a heavy thing to carry, and it's a bit of overwork. It's a little bit of workaholic, overdoing it, pushing yourself sometimes a bit too far. On some levels it can be a bit too far. So it's positive, but it's sort of like a little bit of a warning to, okay, you see that in a certain scenario in the cards again, it would tell you to beware to, depending on what it's sitting near. We'll go into that another time, the scenarios, but we'll get on to the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is news and information, and it's usually coming in the form of a message, because this is fire energy. It comes in through communication, so it can come in through messages, conversations, anything with usually the spoken word more so than the written word, but it can be either. And it can relate to being a fire sign. It can be a fire sign, Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. If it's depicting a younger person, being it's a page, it would be the younger. But it's usually just to do with communication. And yeah, it's fast moving energy. Usually comes in and makes things change a bit depending where it's sitting. And the usual, as I say in all these other reads, is the page walks in, the knight gallops in. So the knight revs up that energy, just like that horse is rearing up. That energy picks up it is even a bigger omen of fast moving energy or change coming in around, because these always have the knights and the wands usually have to do with being bringing in and ushering in change and bringing it in. Well, the Knight of Wands is definitely bringing in the change and moving that energy, and it's fairly fast moving. He'd be probably the fastest knight. Him and the Knight of Swords, but he'd be the fastest knight in the deck, would be the fastest moving energy that comes in to move a situation along, or move or bring that energy into a certain reading to make it feel or seem to be a certain way. And again, he can be a young fire sign male, because the page and the knight are supposed to be blokes, but whether they are or not, that'll be back to your own intuition again. So then we've got the last two. We'll trot these guys out. That one's going to just fall over. And we've got the Queen and the King. And the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. Queen of Wands is very much she's always sitting on that throne, like she's about to get up and she's about to jump up. She's not sitting back there, resting back comfortably. She's got that stance like she's about to jump up and sprint off and do something. So to me, she's always got that energy of getting, and she's the go-getter, she's the doer, she's the one that would, she'd go and get it done. Being the fire queen, she'd be the one that would burn her way through and go ahead with it. She can depict a person. Female would be fairly, like they always are, the queens, they're quite intelligent, quite not matured in the head, very matured way of thinking, and also got, she wouldn't suffer fools lightly, but as a person, she'd be very warm, very loyal, all that, all the good qualities of the king or the queen. And she's always got that little black cat in front of her there too, which is, even it's admiring her. So, but she can definitely do with the countryside, wide open spaces. And this is an abstract vibe of that queen. If it's not a person, it's just the energy that's coming off her. And he always reminds me, he's a bit of a dreamer. He's always looking out like he's, staring off in his thoughts. He'd be quite trustworthy, quite passionate as a person, being a fire sign. Slightly impatient I think only at times when someone's testing his patience. That's the vibe he gives me. He wouldn't suffer fools too lightly if it was a person. But it doesn't always have to depict a person when you see it in the reading. It can be just the energy of the card, and that card in the abstract sort of look of the card. He's sort of to do with property, land, open contracts with and around land, like property settlements and all that sort of stuff, negotiations. But being the king, he is very trustworthy and a lot of loyalty. Thanks for hanging out and stopping by. Catch you all again next time. Bye for now.